I used to get up.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the Conservation Commission meeting of October 18th to order at 5:33 p.m. We are going to run right into formal. Paul, if you could please read us into formal.
All public hearings and meetings heard by the Raynham Conservation Commission on Wednesday, October 18, 2017, at 5:30 p.m. in the Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall, Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room, 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass., are relative to filings and joint hearings and/or meetings under Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, as amended, and the Town of Raynham Wetland Protection Bylaw.
All right, first we have a notice of intent, Commerce Way, map 15, parcel 176-2H, Ankler Patel. Do you have your tear sheets and green cards?
And the tear sheet? That's exactly it. Thank you very much. I just got to figure out this.
With the right date?
What's the date, 18th?
Yeah, the 11th.
That's good. The 11th right now. Let me double check that. Okay, in August. 11th was Thursday, so that's good.
Right there, top left.
In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Town of Raynham Local Bylaw, the Raynham Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, October 18th at 5:30 p.m. in the Donald L. McKinnon Meeting Room in the Raynham Veterans Memorial Town Hall at 558 South Main Street, Raynham, Mass. on a notice of intent filed by Pioneer Management Incorporated, 164 Washington Street, Plainville, Mass. 02762. The applicant proposes to construct an 83-room hotel with associated parking and utilities located within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The property is owned by the Schwann Home Service Incorporated, P.O. Box 35, Marshall, Minnesota 56258, and is located at Commerce Way, Raynham, Assessors Map 15, Parcel 176-2H.
Let me just open this up before I make all this noise in the speakers, and the microphones. Then Wayne gets upset with us. Yes. We had a meeting here. All right, if you could turn that mic closer to you, so Wayne doesn't get mad at you. Please state your name and firm for the record.
My name is Thomas Mikulak. I'm a professional engineer with Beals & Thomas Incorporated, and I'm here on behalf of Pioneer Management.
Can you just give us a quick overview of what you're looking for, what you're looking to do?
So as previously stated, this is a 4-story, 83-room hotel that's being proposed, an extended stay type of hotel. It's proposed within the Raynham Woods Commerce Center, and before we get everybody, the Route 44 right-of-way to the north is Commerce Way, is the rear of the existing Walmart facility. So we have a couple of entrances, driveway entrances off of Commerce Way, and as you can see, the BVW is highlighted in green, and we tried to keep everything, as far south of the wetland as was feasible, so we shifted a lot of our parking to the south side of the proposed building. Currently, the site slopes from west to east, so just to deal with the grade implications, we have a retaining wall proposed at the rear perimeter of the site, and everything is basically, all the parking areas are directed towards deep sump catch basins that are then routed to a water quality unit that discharges to a stub that was left as part of the master plan associated with the Raynham Woods Commerce Center. The roof water runoff is routed to infiltration chambers at the northeasterly corner of the proposed building, And subsequent to that, whatever doesn't infiltrate will overflow into that previously mentioned system. And all of that runoff on site is routed through a water quality unit before discharging to that culvert. The culvert basically drains this existing wetland across the street to the east to an adjacent wetland system.
Drainage.
You know, we have some amenities on site, you know, associated with the hotel as far as some outdoor seating areas, you know, any sidewalks that are associated with the egress and access points to the hotel. We do have a dumpster enclosure proposed, basically as far as we could get it away from the BVW. It's probably a little tough to see, but you have this black line is your 25-foot no-touch buffer. And, you know, we tried to, or we did respect that. And, you know, you can see, here's the grading plan. We tried to limit our grading as much as we could, as much as was feasible to avoid any impacts on that northerly side of the site. And, you know, we have all of the proposed utilities associated with the building, you know, other than drainage, we're utilizing the existing stubs that were left as part of the master plan for Raynham Woods. And that's basically it. We have, you know, gas and water coming in along this eastern, or along the southern driveway to the eastern side of the building. And you have the sewer coming out of the front, discharging to a proposed stub, or it's proposed as discharging to an existing sewer stub that was left also as part of the master plan. And, I mean, that's basically it. There is some, I don't know if you guys are concerned with the landscaping, but we have some landscaping proposed out front, just to be consistent with the Raynham Woods Commerce Center guidelines. But it's basically it as far as
I may have not flipped to the right page yet, but the parking lot drainage, where's
Yes.
that going to be going to?
So you'll see there's a series of catch basin to manhole configuration type of drainage.
Because she's C 4.1.
Yeah, put that on right now.
Basically to the northeasterly corner of the parking lot. This northern driveway you'll see, there's DMH 04. Everything on site comes to a confluence at that point, and then it discharges northerly to the water quality unit, and then from the water quality unit it goes to existing DMH 2, which is basically sitting right on top of a existing culvert.
Yeah, right here. So that goes, and that's going into the wetland from there, or is it?
This is actually heading in this direction,
Okay.
so everything's heading to the southeast eventually. So that culvert is essentially draining this wetland system. And we're just tying into that to, you know, maintain that. I mean, basically maintains existing flow patterns because, you know, obviously with no building here, everything would just flow onto Commerce Way and would discharge to the you know, the catch basin system within Commerce Way. You'll see there's another, you know, basically discharge point where that culvert discharges across Commerce Way.
So essentially, there's a lot of work going on in the buffer zone.
Yeah, there's, you know, just given the constraints of the site and just to develop
I
it.
mean, this way, this whole, pretty much the whole building.
Azu, have you had a chance to review the plans?
Yeah, you know, like, Kasim, when we originally met with him, the area is pretty much developed, the wetlands. The wetlands is what it is, you know what I'm saying? There really no change to be made, it's right at the base of the slope. And then, obviously, if you look at the drainage system, that was already set up for these lots to be developed. Yeah, they were all,
Get in trouble.
they were all set up to drain into that. The only issue I have relates to the retaining wall, but it really is not the conservation germane, if you will. So in terms of the design on the wall, to make sure, because that
Okay.
and then you will want to see that structural engineer's signature stamp on prior to installation of that. But that can be a condition of approval if the commission chooses to approve it.
Is there the chambers that they're proposing big enough to support the flow?
Well, they're not really doing any recharge for the site itself. The time, and I will give them that little credit, because when the project was originally planned out, recharge wasn't really required, if you will. This project goes back to the late 80s. So, if to answer your question, no, but at the end of the day, it's gonna set up to drain. If they have, my approach was, if they actually had the project developed all through that time, that would not have been the case. But this is not the same scenario that we had across the street when they did the other one next to Wendy's. That one was not part of, right, was not part of, there was no master plan for that one.
On the north side of the property, I noticed you moved all the parking spaces to the south side of the property. So on the north side of the property, it looks like there's a pretty good drop-off from the edge of the asphalt into the wetland area. What's going to be going up between the wetland area and the edge of the parking lot? Is it a guardrail, or is it going to be a fence, chain link?
I mean, currently, there's not a fence proposed, nor is there a vehicle barrier. So we basically tie our contours in. What's driving these grades, obviously, is the finished floor of the building. We had to try to make a compromise to where we're cutting so much in the rear, filling a little bit in the front. So basically, 63.5 is the proposed finished floor. So right in this area, we're pretty close to grade. In this area, we are going to have to fill, marginally, just to sort of level us off. There's a contour in here that'll be getting cut off, but to answer your question, right now, there is no rail, and, I understand that you're more talking about the existing grade, because, okay, we can tie into the existing fine, but even then, there's still a relatively steep drop-off, so I guess if that's something that
So
we could take under advisement.
my question, I want to step it out one step further. My question is, once we start treating this in the wintertime for ice management, and we have equipment plowing all the snow to the right-hand side that's treated with salt, because that's what everybody's going to now. Most people aren't even using sand anymore. It's going right to salt because it melts faster.
Sure.
It's great that the snow will melt and go into the drainage system you have set up, but what's going to happen is somebody that doesn't know is going to push all their plow blade to the right, and all that snow is going to go over the curb, and it's going to go down the embankment, and where is it going to end up? It's going to end up inside the 25-foot no-touch.
Sure.
So that's my concern with that side. I love that the parking spaces are all on the south side, because there's not much plowing on that side anymore, but there still is the possibility of contractors pushing the snow over. And I know we're not in a well-resource area like the Walmart on 138, so I don't think we have to go to the extent of special treatment for ice management. I think we were using liquid, what was it over there, Azu? Liquid?
Yeah, sodium-based, sodium chloride-based de-icing.
But we do need something to be a buffer so it's not as easy.
A snow fence of some sort?
But we need something,
You can actually require that they put a physical barrier,
A snow fence of
like
some
of
sort.
a guardrail.
no,
I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be a metal guardrail.
all right, it could be a wooden guard.
The wood post guardrail
Yeah.
that's just as sturdy, and then it wouldn't look kind of, the guardrail, the metal guardrail would look kind of like an eyesore there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Not if you paint it.
Yeah, if you paint it. So, again, that's my only concern, and then even if there is a guardrail, we need to put something in there also in perpetuity that if a machine comes during a big snowstorm like we had a couple of years ago, that they're not using the guardrail and dumping over.
Well,
Because-
it can require that of a post, signpost.
Right.
This would be a good, and it will not be like some of the homeowners where they do a signpost and it's scribbled. This one here, they can actually make it look very good. And so you can require a signpost along that line. A lot, then that's not gonna be any snow hauling across.
Yeah, snow or even any grass clippings and debris and landscaping
Yeah,
debris and stuff like that,
Well, it's
so.
already in the 25 no-touch area there as well, so
Right.
they can't do anything like that.
Well, we know that. We know that.
Yeah, but we put signs
Kind
up
of
for that.
right, I mean, the kind of use that you're talking here, they're not gonna be doing that. If you're doing a residential project where, well, Will is just looking at me saying, no, my company does it.
So that would be my only concern is on the north side of the edge of the parking lot as the slope drops down. We just need something there, so we can try to work on snow and ice management, just to make sure nothing contaminated from the parking lot ends up down the slope into the wetland.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, we can accomplish that with signage or...
And a barrier.
And a barrier.
And a physical barrier, okay. Because I guess akin to the signage, we could also, I mean, there's not a whole heck of a lot of area on site, but, you know, we could definitely designate snow removal areas, you know, we've got a
We would want to see that, too.
flat area out front.
So how does that work? Because they have, all their drainage is being done into existing drainage, and they have a water filtration system before it actually gets discharged into the drainage on the street.
Do anything for salt.
Does that, do we still need a snow?
They have to haul the snow out, especially when it's a hotel. So if once you put a restriction on the use and dumping across here, they will have to haul it out. Oh, right here.
Right, on the back, you can have a very tall retaining wall, so you can't.
No, over here, on the south side of the parking.
Right, there's a sliver that we could utilize there. I mean, it's relatively flat as well, you know, so I think it would make sense.
Yeah, snow retention area, okay.
Yeah.
Where are you so far with the planning board?
We have not met. We meet tomorrow night.
Okay.
So I probably
So
want
that'll
to
be a
keep this
comment.
open.
Yeah.
Have you received any comments from the?
We did.
consultants?
Niche provided comments.
And what were the comments?
I mean, I think that actually may have been one of them. I don't want to misremember, but they had comments about, you know, they had a couple of stormwater questions, because they didn't have all the info that you had in your packet for stormwater, so I think a lot of their issues would be resolved just by having the full stormwater report. But, you know, offhand, you know, I think that may have been one, show snow storage areas. But, you know, I don't want to say for certain, but they're definitely addressable comments.
Right, so if you address those, and then, we can come back to us, and so that we all are working on within plan documents.
Do any of the other commissioners have any comments at this point?
No.
I guess a lot will rely on planning, because sometimes planning makes some changes. And then we will, you know, are gonna wanna see those changes. And then off those changes, we could have some comments.
Right.
So,
Understood.
all right, Azu, anything else?
No, other than you should request a continuation.
Yes.
Well, anybody in the audience, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you for reminding me. Is there anybody in the audience about this project? Going once, twice.
And I guess one thing just to clarify on the infiltration chambers, the system is actually larger than that. This is erroneously shown as 3x4. It's going to be somewhat larger to, attempt to recharge a little bit more, to maybe comply with the current standard. But that's what's noted in the report right now is 30 chambers currently, although it's not reflected on the plan.
So you're saying that the stamp plan is incorrect?
Well, it was just, it was just a, it was just something that was.
Never mind.
So, all right, that was something that we were.
The commissioners don't have any other questions, well, all we need from you now is a formal request for continuation. And I don't know if you're gonna wanna wait 2 weeks, or if you wanna wait for our December meeting. I'm assuming you may not have many answers after tomorrow night's planning board meeting.
After the meeting that the commissioner has, next month, So,
It's completely up to you. It's your continuation.
So we have a November 1st and a November 15th meeting.
so you can continue to November 15, because then that would allow them to address any comments from tomorrow night's planning board meeting, and then the next planning board meeting, around November 2nd, would allow them to finish that up, and then come to us on the 15th.
And that's what I was trying to say also. So is that, but again, it's your continuation, not ours. You
Right.
tell us when you want to continue it to.
Yeah, I guess 15th,
Of November? Okay.
November 15th.
Okay, do you have the form you need to fill out? If you could just fill this out for us, please. And I'll entertain a motion from the commissioners.
Motion to continue to November 15th meeting.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to continue the notice of intent for Commerce Way, map 15, parcel 176-2H, Ankler Patel, to November the 15th. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, seeing nothing informal, we're going to jump to informal. We have discussion regarding violation of 826 Broadway, map 4, parcel 30-0, Robert F. Nealon Jr. Is there anybody here for that?
Well, I'm John Traveloni.
You're going to...
It's kind of on me.
All right, so you're going to talk on both of both, and the other one is discussion regarding violation at 840 Broadway, map 4, parcel 32-A-01, John J. Traveloni and Richard Traveloni, trustees.
Correct.
So if you don't mind, just come on up to the mic.
How you doing, guys?
If you could just state your name and address.
John Traveloni, 28 Parkwood Drive, Raynham.
And obviously you received from us a letter?
For 840 Broadway and 826, right?
Correct. So there was some alteration.
Yes,
Down at the back.
what had happened was, I had rented an excavator. I have 4 stumps coming through the tar. And with my insurance company, I had somebody fall, kind of in a suit with somebody, because the ice comes down, lays over the stumps in the land, so I rented this, the stumps are huge. So the intent was to get this excavator and rip out these 4 stumps, which I did. Bobby only knew, that's why, I'm not sure why Bobby isn't here, but he's in Boston, he works, so he's trying to make it here. And I told him I will tell him. He only knew that I was renting the machine. So I ripped out the stumps, and they were big. My insurance company wanted me to because I had put the bottom layer down of pavement, but I never did the top. So we had the guy come to look at it. He's like, we got to rip those up. So I said, okay. And that was in the tar. It's just coming through, and it's like a hazard for people walking. When the ice comes, it goes over it, and people slip on it. So that was the issue with that. So as I was there, in the past, I've always cleaned this area. And I'm going to come over and show you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is behind, and you can see, I as I was there, I got refrigerators, auto parts, bags of garbage, and you could see, I've done it in the past with my father. Last 2 years, I haven't been able to touch it because my dad's been sick. So I'm just going along. We've always kind of been to that area, but if I don't keep it up, it kind of reclaims itself. You know what I mean? So you can see all the junk. I was pulling bags of needles.
Is that the area behind the fence?
No, there's no fence here. The fence is over there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was in the
This
wrong.
is 826.
Okay.
This is the
Yeah.
big house right here.
Yeah, this is the house of 826, and so, I wasn't filling it in. I brought some stone in, just like he did, kind of what we used to do. We've been doing it for like 30 years. So occasionally, that's how we clean it. I haven't cleaned it like him, so I kind of lost it. So that when I had the machine there, because I was doing the work myself, I'm like, let me clean it up. As I kept cleaning, I'm pulling refrigerators and stuff. It ends up being a swath, but to me, I've mattresses, I've had customers come in, it's embarrassing almost, when people look in and they look to the left and they see this guy nice and clean, and I've got food, and they're looking at that, because that's my off parking. So the intent was just to clean it. It was never to take it or anything like that. I just wanted to make it nice and clean. So that was that. As far as the trees, I've had trees falling through the fence for the last few years. You'll see a section of fence that's new, it just breaks. In the wintertime, I actually had to cut one up to get rid of it. They just fall. So again, as I was there, I didn't move the fence, but I grabbed the trees, I just pushed them aside because it's so weak back there. There's actually there's a tree there still, it's dangerous, I don't know which way it's gonna fall, but I go to sleep at night wondering if these trees are gonna fall on the customers. One night it was laying out in the parking lot. I've actually had one hit my truck. I still have my Dodge Ram, which I plow with. It's got a V in it from a tree hitting it as I was there. So I was just trying to make it safe and clean. I was not trying to take anything. And the fence is still there.
Yes.
Okay, and that, to me, was something I've always done in the past. So I thought I was doing, I'm sorry if I was in the wrong area, but I thought I was doing what I've always been able to do, is clean it, especially while I had the machine. Because you could see from there's all kinds of stuff there, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I was just trying to clean it.
Okay.
So that was my,
Oswald, have you had a chance to,
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm looking at over here right now, we've got an order of conditions that was never closed out. They never filed for a certificate of compliance.
From when?
2010, actually. So that needs to be addressed. Oh, excuse me, did I say 2010? 2000.
2000?
Yeah. So Paul, you were here.
So, notice of intent is...
That was filed, but back then, they never got a certificate of compliance. So that needs to be cleaned up. So obviously, they are aware of the fact that they have wetlands resources there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, at a minimum, they should file a request for determination of applicability, and then provide you a management plan that says this is what we do to maintain the area. So,
A lot of people to clean up wetland areas before when they've been full of trash and that sort of stuff.
right. So you can allow that. I mean, it's kind of similar to down the street, where the one that was going to be here tonight, but then they said, okay, we understand what you want us to do, we'll jump on it.
And that's an issue also there with just continued maintenance.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the maintenance doesn't mean going to the wetlands and start bulldozing, you know? So I think we need to clean up, because then an as-built plan submitted with the request for certificate of compliance will then document what's there, and we can at least go that route. And that allows you to find out how they comply with the original order of conditions, and go from there. But I don't think, I mean, you have to take him at his word that that's what he's done, and apparently not willful, and to protect their property and to protect the people in the area. So, but they just need to clean up the folder. So with an application for request for certificate of compliance, and that will show us the existing, the as-built, basically, is documenting the existing condition there right now.
Okay.
Okay, that's basically what the as-built will show us. And then, that will reflect where the wetlands are.
And then we could ask for a maintenance plan. if you
Okay, exactly.
be able to clean that area.
Well, he also has to
No,
determine
the 840 is the
building
address.
on the work
We'll
they
send
did,
the application.
And the other
but he has to
property
close
next to
the
it is
original one
826.
alive first.
They're two separate pieces of property. I think that one's only for 840, if I'm not mistaken.
But it showed that 826 as existed at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it showed 826 as existed at the time.
So 826 was part of this?
No, it was an
Yes, it was
apartment, they own it,
existing,
it's an
but-
apartment property. But it's already developed, this one here was in, the 840 was a new application in 2000.
So does that plan for 840 show,
Yeah, show the wetlands in the back.
can you mind passing that one down when you're done, Ozzy?
Does 826 have a certificate of compliance?
No, they did not file, that one's already existed, they did not file an application
Oh,
for
okay,
that.
okay. So they don't need one.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that something I didn't do, or?
You and your dad, whoever filed the application at the time.
Whoever the engineer or...
Al Borden was the surveyor at the time. And the order of conditions,
2000.
the order of conditions was issued to John Travellini. Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be you.
That's me.
Now, has the property, let me take a look. This is the original one from 2000. Has the property changed ownership since then? No?
No, they own it.
So, yeah, that's why it wouldn't have gotten caught by the registry of deeds with ownership change, because then you usually would have noticed.
They would, then they would have been looking for, the lawyers would have been asking for. Yeah, that's correct, good observation.
We're on the edge of the parking lot.
But keep in mind, that was proposed.
We don't know what the finish is, right? Okay.
And to finish that off, that would just be an as-built for 840.
Correct.
About 826.
Right, you don't need it you don't need a certificate of compliance for 826.
So,
They just need to, if they're doing any work there, they need to come to you and say, this is what we're trying to accomplish, so that you can give them a positive or negative determination.
so do we have anything in older files for 826?
I couldn't find anything.
No,
So
so
we don't-
826 was already existent.
Yeah.
So we don't know where the wetland line is behind 826?
No, other than you can surmise from what on 840, that is probably pretty much the same. No, that's in 840.
Any commissioners, any questions?
Well, we have two separate issues, right?
Two separate locations, violations on two locations.
So we have to deal with each one, or recommendation, whatever.
Yeah,
An
this,
RDA.
an RDA for 826, and then they need to file a request for certificate of compliance on 840. And that certificate of compliance will show you the as-built, so you can look at it, compare to what you approved, and then go from there.
Okay, so that sounds like it'd be the easiest way, instead of doing an RDA on both properties, since one of them still has an open,
Start with the COC.
yeah, start with the COC for that, because we should be able to get a lot of information off of the as-built plan. But the left property, the 826, that's gonna need an RDA, because we don't know where the wetland line is there.
It's an RDA,
Request for determination.
okay.
So that will help us determine where the wetland line is, and where we can stay away from it enough to work on the area before we get to that area, you know?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I do is I plow, and in that other, like you were just telling him,
Yeah.
it's like, where's it go?
Yeah.
And that's the edge there, you know what I mean? And you kind of clean it. Other than that, when it grows wild, that's where people dump.
Yeah.
When I look to the guy to the left, the way we used to have it, is how it lays clean and nobody's able to go dump their stuff back.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I don't disagree with anybody that wants to maintain areas to let it, not get overburdened, overgrown, or swales that need to be maintained. We're definitely pro-maintenance, because we don't want it to get out of control.
We want to find a line.
We just need to know where we're working from.
Absolutely.
So that way we can say, hey, here's the line, we can't work 25 feet from that line, anything before that, we can work in that area.
Gotcha.
But until we figure out where the established line is, we don't know where to go to from there.
Yeah, no, and...
Does that make sense, Azza? Did I? Okay.
Perfect. No, he's right on.
Okay.
It's just the opposite, I believe, and I'll show him. Hold on. 826 is more like to the left, and 840 is more like 854. It's kind of a... See, here's 826, and there's the stuff I cleaned up, and you can see from the sky, see, there's kind of like the stone and the grindings, and here's the other neighbor to the left, where here is 840, you know what I mean? So you were right in one aspect, these two jump this way, but these two kind of jump that way, so.
So a request for determination will be more than enough.
Yeah, because it looks like definitely there's more wiggle room on
26.
826 than there is on...
840.
On 840, yeah. On 840, definitely, I think a COC, with the as-built
for the COC.
showing everything, we'll fix that, we'll take care of that and show us there. Then 826, the RDA, showing us where that line is,
And what-
and where we can work
tell
from.
me to do,
So
I'm gonna do.
I think that's the...
And plus, the RDA, I think the commission is being very reasonable, because that saves you all kinds of application fee.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've seen the area, I've been there.
Okay.
Anything else? Good?
No, now we just need a quick plan of action and a timeline. So one of the commissioners did see the work, and he put a verbal cease and desist to stop until we could figure out what was going on. You got those letters in the mail?
I wasn't done anyways.
Yeah.
Because it was just cleaning, so I wasn't doing anything else besides what I had done. I mean, they would take the machine the next day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as the pavement, I'm just finishing the top thing, and I'm not going over anything that isn't already paved,
Okay.
because I know that. So,
So what we request, so we can stay consistent with the area, we did require another property, I think they're adjacent to this property, a 1-month timeframe to get back to us on their plan of action.
so how do I do this RDA thing? You want me to get an as-built done, or?
So the as-built would be for
840.
840. That would be the as-built, and then, once the as-built is done, apply for the certificate of compliance, and that will go with the as-built.
Am I getting a new as-built, or bringing you?
No, the plan you have with the
I have an
proposed plan.
as-built.
That's a proposed plan.
Oh.
So, okay,
That was never an as-built.
So an as-built plan says,
This is what.
after you did the work, after you developed the property, this is what it looks like. All right, then you can bring that one.
Didn't bring it in.
Yeah. So if the commission can take a vote and say, that they need to file for a certificate of compliance for number 840 to clear that up.
Yeah.
And that they need to file a request for determination of applicability for number 826, and then that they should do that within 30 days. But each one has to have a separate vote, because it's a separate, even though it's the same owner, it's separate locations.
Does he need to do a survey? Does he need to?
Wait, how you gonna do an as-built without a survey?
That's,
But
I
that's
don't know
what
if
we need
he
to do.
understands that.
Yeah.
What, tell me.
Well, he says you need an as-built, so if you vote that, what we will do is we'll drop that letter, memorializing your vote, and in that letter, we'll tell him what he needs for an as-built, prepared by a land surveyor.
But he just said he has it.
Well, then he will bring that.
All
And we
right.
can review
Okay.
it. We'll review
If he
it.
has that, then he can bring it, and we'll take a look at it.
You
Okay.
don't have to do it at all, yeah.
All right. Now, we have to, the first property, 826, where the wetland line dips back more, the one we need an RDA on, that would have to be filed by the actual property owner, the RDA, not Mr. Triglione.
Right.
Because
That's
it-
fine, I can
Pass
see
it along.
Well, he can file it as an agent, or a representative, or land user, or whatever.
Okay, as long as we have it done right and
Yeah.
it's worded properly.
You
I'll
know,
do what he has to do,
Yeah.
whatever you tell him, and I will relay that to him.
Okay, all right. So,
A motion to request,
To require.
require an RDA, request for determination of applicability on 826 Broadway, map 4, partial 30-0, Robert F. Nealon.
And that it'll be filed within 30 days.
That to be filed within 30 days.
so we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it?
I have a question.
Yes.
The RDA, is that, I'll get a botanist or something? How does that?
We got a letter, you will get a letter, they just took care for it, so we'll send you a letter explaining what you need to do based on this vote.
Yeah.
Because I gotta leave.
Okay, and then we'll need a motion for the other property for the COC, to require the COC.
Okay. Motion to require a certificate of compliance for 840 Broadway, map 4, parcel 32A01, John J. Traveloni and Richard A. Traveloni, trustees,
That's also as within 30 days?
within 30 days.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, so that's our plan of action. You'll get a letter from us.
You'll tell me what to do.
Is that plan of action, then,
I'll get it done.
perfect.
Okay.
All right?
Catch up, you will catch up.
I'll get it done before the winter, that's.
Yeah, absolutely, that'd be good. All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great, appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have a good night.
All right, see you Friday.
All right, any other informal business?
This is my water or yours?
That's mine.
Yeah, okay.
Any
Do
other-
you want to talk about South Coast Rail?
Take the water.
No, I have one in the truck.
Other informal, we could talk about South Coast Rail.
It's sort of like a pre-meeting.
Yeah. Do you want to discuss it, Bill? Do you want me to?
No, well, either way, since you delegated to me yesterday, I'll delegate.
All right, delegate back up. All right, so yesterday, myself and Bill Reynolds had a meeting with South Coast Rail here at the Town Hall in a small meeting room at 10 a.m. They are looking to file a notice of intent in the near future, and we were a little bit not sure of what they wanted to file a notice of intent for. We didn't know if they were planning on coming down the existing proposed line that connects from Stoughton all the way to the Taunton area, through Easton, Raynham, Taunton, through the Hockomock Swamp area. After further explanation and further inquiry on our part, that is Phase 2 of this Phase 1 and Phase 2 project. The area in question that will affect Raynham is actually Phase 1, and it is actually a connection of the current Old Colony line that ends in Lakeville, and it will actually come across on a freight line, an old freight line, not old because it's still in use today, a lightly used freight line that comes from the Lakeville area through Taunton, Middleborough, Lakeville, almost runs parallel to Route 44 a little bit. And the area that it abuts Raynham is over by Church Street, Park Drive,
Park Place and
Park
Gatsby.
and Gatsby Drive. So that's where the line in question is. So it's not the line coming down from Stoughton through the Hockomock Swamp. It's actually the current existing line that is over by Church Street and Park Place. So they're looking to update that line a little bit. Some of the culverts need to be replaced for potential more train traffic and more train traffic at higher speeds and then the freight trains. So that's where the notice of intent is going to come from for Raynham, and it's only about 3,000 feet of line. So it's not a big chunk. It does only impact that part of town, and it looks like it will, like I said, connect over to an existing line, which would come out to 140 in Taunton, and then from there, they would branch down to Fall River and the New Bedford area. I think tentatively, they were talking about if everything went according to plan, it would be somewhere in 2022, that would be operational, and that's where we're at,
Operational.
2022.
That's
The,
optimistic.
We did,
Well, that is an existing line, there's already a track there.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I've been there. I know, what-
yeah, they,
yeah, yes.
we did agree to a initial site visit at the location on November 1st. So that, we'll post that so that everybody can attend if they want to go to that. And that'll be prior to their notice of intent filing, which they're expecting to do on the 15th.
December
Right.
6th?
No, I thought they said the 15th.
I think they're trying to make the first meeting, November 17th. I think they were trying to make the first meeting in December with the NOI.
December, you said?
Yes,
Yes,
December.
December 6th for the NOI.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was the 19th, okay, no.
That might be the due date into the office.
The 17th was the 2 weeks before.
Right.
But the site walkthrough will be on the 1st, November 1st.
And isn't there a pre-training thing?
Yeah, there's a meeting prior to the site visit here at Town Hall to be trained, because it's an active train line that we'll be traversing, so they want us to be trained for safety and all of that.
So if there are any questions or phone calls to the office about the extension from Stoughton, it is not that part that we were talking about. It's on the other end of town, over by Church Street and Park Place. All right.
You wanted to address, Mr. Chairman, the other project we were talking about, Brian Dunn had sent a letter about,
Oh, thank
he's
you.
going to be here tonight.
So our other area of concern over there on Broadway, I don't want to, 770, we had given them a 30-day window to get back to us on a maintenance plan and filing, so we knew where the wetland lines are. They are still in the process of working through that issue, but they wanted to give us an update that they did know that it was coming up to the window, the end of the window, and were asking for a little bit more time so they can get all their ducks in a row. But they are staying on top of it. They did reach out to us. They aren't ignoring us.
Do we have to vote on an extension for them, or?
I would, just to make it official.
How long are they asking for?
They're not asking for any specific time. They were actually scheduled to come tonight, and then they got some more clarification on what we were looking for. It sounds like there was some miscommunication on their end between the individuals that were at our meeting that night and the engineer. So now that the engineer is well aware of what we're looking for, I think he can move forward at a pretty quick pace, but it wasn't going to happen for tonight.
Do we want to make the extension to the next meeting, or just another 30 days?
I would recommend to go out for at least a month, with the 30 days. That way,
Give them plenty of time to...
still got to post it on the paper, they've still got to do all that
right,
stuff.
so I'd recommend, 30 days.
Recommend granting an extension to 77 Broadway. I don't have any of the part and partial number, but that address for 30 days prior to attending another meeting.
Okay, there's a motion.
Second?
Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We can do that. All right, we will go into general business. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes of October 4th, 2017?
Motion to accept?
We have a motion to accept. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion on the minutes of October 4th? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Our bill section.
You have to do something here.
Oh, there's a double. Okay, was there any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Okay. So, once that bill gets back to this end of the table, Paul, you can make your famous last motion of the evening.
Depends how fast these guys sign.
On that note.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Second. A second, I know there won't be any discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 6:22 PM. Thank you.